All right. Earlier I spoke to Timothy Ndegwa, who is a young comedian. He's popularly known as Njugush, who says there's nothing funny about the Kazi Mtaani program. Take a look. The program Njugush. I want to start by playing an excerpt of your skit. Watch.
Guy, unafanya nini?
Aya mambo.
Fiti.
Nafanya kazi hapa mtaani. Tuko na bahati. Tunalipwa at the end of the day. Tumesoma sana. Mimi nimesoma sana. Tukaenda uni, tukaambiwa tusome kutoka tukiwa dogo tumesoma. Sasa sasa tumebahatika tukapata kazi ya kufieka.
Well, it's just an excerpt of it in Njugush, and it went viral. So let's start with this, because you're a young man. What is it that you hope to highlight about the plight of young people at this time in relation to the Kazi Mtaani program?
I think largely the single point about how youths are disappointed. They are disappointed, of course. And this comes from a point of, every day you get DMs of people, they're telling you, I've done ABCD, nothing is working. But when you look around, you see the people who are supposed to make it bearable, the people who are supposed to make it happen, they're doing nothing. If anything, they are sort of adding salt, they are adding salt. Do we say adding salt on insult?
Right. Salt on injury, yes.
Exactly.
Right. What do you mean by they're doing nothing? I'm sure the administration will argue that Kazi Mtaani is a start. Where do you think it fails to meet the mark?
When you say Kazi Mtaani is a start, they are starting when they are already closing shop. It's, I think, 2 years, we are already campaigning for the next election. This is the second term of this government. The government that we really hoped was very youthful. From the on point, I remember when they are doing their manifesto, they had a very beautiful thing where I think a small child was carrying the manifesto, then passing on to someone else. It was life-changing. And we knew we were in for a big change. Then came these guys, and now what they are doing is, we are telling guys, I think the greatest they're doing is that our system does not reward hard work. You tell kids, go to school, learn, they go to school, they learn, wanasoma, they have 2 degrees, 3 graduations, and then they have no jobs. And then you come and tell them, no, we are starting to do wonders. Can you come and start digging trenches? I don't know. And for young guys, every day we have new universities coming up. They're giving good education. But then at the end of the day, where do we take all these? And that's why it's such a pity when you tell people, if you tell me the guys who have gone to school, they've gone to good universities, gotten the best of educations, if you tell me those guys are going to dig trenches, what about those who never went past class 8? What are they going to do? So I think it's such a huge disappointment. That's why I said it's a disappointment to the young guys, because as much as that's happening, they tell you, you can employ yourself. So you try and employ yourself. Then, like, for example, I have a case in point where I have a friend in Roysambu who is a young guy. He went to university, finished, he didn't get a job. Well and good. He is self-employed himself. He opened a PS shop and a little bit of movie stall and selling shoes. What happens is every day, Tanjos and the police must come and knock and get the 50 shillings per day. So, government in Kuangusha, you are expected to be, to have a place somewhere working. You are not. Then here you come, you self-employ yourself, they are still on your back. And then you tell them as a solace, you can come and dig trenches as Kazi Mtaani. So for me, I don't know, maybe it's a good thought, but I'd like to know when they sit in those board meetings, if they really see what, because from what we are seeing, and even if you didn't really go to school, you can see things are not right. You can see, I tend to think this era we are living is like when in schools, the Form 4s are running the school. It's like the government is being run by Form 4s. When we don't have prefects are on a trip, an academic trip, and you are left to govern yourself. So that's what's happening. And it's really sad. And I'll tell you, another case in point where we don't reward hard work. Look at Fatuma Zarika. What happened to her? She gave her all. She was good. Look at her. Look at Congestina. Look at our Harambee. How many times have you heard the Harambee stars, our rugby guys, Hawajalipo? They are guys. Right. And the guys who should be in charge, they are moving around in Gazlas. For them, everything is working. Their budgetary allocation in terms of tea and whatever flowers in the office, they are working. But for the guys who are the cause, the main should be the main cause of these. They're not really. They are getting the short end of the stick, and it's really telling when a government cannot be able to see the young people. Maybe it's us who are seeing this, and I'm talking about the poor guys. I'm not talking about the guys who their parents are in a place where they can send them some few million Kenya shillings from public coffers. I'm talking about the poor guys. That poor young guy who the parents now depend on the young guy. They took him to school. Right. They sold a cow. They took him to school. They took her to school in the idea that whether ukisoma, when you get this good education, you're gonna take care of us in our old age. Now they are old. The young guy is still here, being told to dig trenches so that he can be able to take care of the aging parents. They have come to we have diseases. The same government doesn't take care of the health sector. Our doctors are dying, taking care of us during this this COVID, whatever. So this young guy is expected to take care of these aging parents. So where will he start?
Right. You know, your video, I know it went absolutely viral, and forgive me if I may have missed it, but ever since I put out the poster that I was going to speak to you today, people say that they can't find the video, and I think what is being left are some clips being shared around. Were you under any pressure to take down your video?
Sorry?
People say they can't find this video clip online anymore, on your page at least. Were you under any pressure to take it down, or what kind of response have you received since you posted it?
No. I don't think the video is off. I think it's online and I'm going to check because the last time I checked it was there. And I don't think that should be the pressure of getting it down, because what I was saying is something that everyone can see. It's not about political stand. I don't want to be in politics. No, not really. It's just about how things are. As an artist, we should be able to use our platforms to be able to tell what we feel is right or wrong. And in this case, that's what a lot of people agreed with me. When I say that, I didn't see a single comment telling me I did wrong. So I don't see why anyone should be or should want me to pull down the video. And it's still online for the people who are asking. I've been seeing it going round and round. So I was not under any duress to either record it or to bring it down.
Right. Okay. PS Hinga is in charge of the program. Kazi Mtaani, that is. What is it that you would like to ask him? Njugush, if you can hear me. PS Hinga is in charge of the PS Hinga is in charge of the Kazi Mtaani program, and he's with us tonight. What is it that you would like to ask him?
I think my greatest question would be when, and this I'll be very flat, when are they intending to get serious on solving issues touching on the young guys? And it's not about, it's about holistic. From the time we go to school, is that education really helping us? To the time now we have come to the age of employment, to how do we go? Because it's a lot of things that are affecting us. Not only because employment is just one of the few things. Because if we are well employed, then I'll be able to take care of my health issues. I'll be able to take care of everything else, going to good schools and everything. So I just want to know if this government, if when they sit in their boardrooms, in those beautiful AC-conditioned offices, when are they thinking of seriously taking the Kenyan youth into consideration? Like seriously, not the one where you're being called, now we need to think about it. Because we've seen this a lot of times. You are called for a conference and now you're like, this is the new change. You're told, go, you can employ yourself. And then after that, that's it. We wait for another conference to be able to be told the same thing. You are ferried from wherever you are brought to Nairobi and you're told now you're the future. For how long are we going to be the future? Because we are always told it's the future, we are the future, we are the future. But when you look at the appointments that are being made, little to write home about, the youth and the women are completely forgotten. They think of themselves as we speak. And again, I'll ask, when are they going to be seriously thinking about us as the young people? There's no employment. For the young guys, no employment. No conducive environment for employment. Now, as we speak, the big guys in the offices are looking for ways to look for more positions for themselves. They want to have deputy. It's okay. They are saying this constitution is not working. When is the constitution going to work for the young guys? They are going to look for big offices. They want deputy prime minister, deputy whoever, so that all of them can be there, because some of the governors cannot run again. So they want to create chances for themselves. We are asking, when are they going to take us seriously? And let them not say, the PS and the CS is not saying they are not politicians, because we've been seeing them politicking. So it's a leadership problem, it's a political problem, because as we speak, there are some CSs going around doing some political gimmicks. So if you tell us to stay at home, as we speak, again, Bwana PS, entertainment industry is just sitting. Guys are not earning. The DJs, the clubs are not open. Yet, we are seeing people politicking. They are having roadside delegations. They are having some of them are going to launch Kabro in Nairobi, in town, usiku wa manane. So if they are doing their work, why are young guys not being given a chance to be able to go back to work? Because while summer, and it's not helping them. So they've employed themselves. Ima DJ, they are performers, they are artists. I have friends of mine who are artists. They depend on crowds. They are told your crowds, because of COVID, your crowds are not, it's not responsible to have your crowds. What is so special for the guys in politics? They are looking for big offices to have their crowds, because we've seen them. Wakona crowds, wanahida wakishika kamati hivi. We've seen them. So till when are they going to be serious about us as young guys?
All right, that was me speaking to comedian Njugush, and he's going to be joining us live very shortly. But PS first, respond to him.
Wow, Anne, I must say that is quite a mouthful. But here a couple of things, and I realize that he has raised so many issues, and we need to understand the scope of how I'm going to respond, because some of the things that he has said, if left unresponded, might create more discourse. So number one, COVID-19 is a reality, and two, take a place like Kwale, where I visited a few months ago. Kwale, before COVID-19, we had hotels that were buzzing, were tourists that were coming here. The reality of the matter is that those jobs are gone. So while in Joro, I understand what he's trying to say, right now what we're dealing with is a crisis. Now, when I was in Kwale, those people that worked in the hotels, that served, where are you going to take them? That's a whole sector in the economy that has been decimated. And when you look at when is it going to come back, we don't know. So this is not a laughing matter. What we are facing, Anne, is a very difficult situation. Here is the thing. There is a correlation between trying to flatten the COVID curve and the economy. So when you put measures to try and flatten the COVID curve, it is also affecting the economy, because we are being told to stay at home. We have curfew. We had all these protocols that are not good for the economy. So what we're dealing with right now is an unfolding situation. Cities have been decimated. Life will never be the same again for some of these places. And so while he has a lot of valid points, and I'd like to get an opportunity to respond to some of them, what we're dealing with on Kazi Mtaani right now is a whole sector that has nothing. In the urban areas, and people will die of hunger. You know, in rural areas, at least you can't die of hunger. When you're staying at home and every day what you eat is what you make, that is a serious situation. So, and he has talked about when are we going to get serious. And he's talked about a blueprint that we had. He said it was colorful. And we were in the process of implementing our Big Four agenda. What is Big Four agenda? Big Four agenda is about creating jobs, because that's what we want to do with manufacturing. Housing is about creating jobs while at the same time providing decent roof. Now, let me give you an example, because that is an area that affects me in housing. Let me tell you a couple of things that we've done. When we have done our flagship project, which is Park Road, we have taken 3 Juakali associations that employ 10,000 people, and we've given them contracts to do doors. Now we are going into a second phase where we are doing Sarehe, Shauri Moyo, and we need about 100,000 doors. That's 3 billion that is going to go right at the bottom of the society. So we can talk about what this government is doing with respect to providing jobs. And yes, and we're not running away from the fact that yes, we do have a high rate of unemployment, and that is what this agenda is all about. The second thing, and that you need to understand, all right, is the fact that The Kazi Mtaani program is a departure from the past, whereby we bought food and maize and went and distributed to the people in these areas because of a crisis, like when there was hunger. And you know what happened with the previous Kazi kwa wazee, and there was issues of maize and all those things. Right now, this Kazi Mtaani is providing vulnerable families with ability to have money straight to their pocket. No one tells them what to do, and they are spending it in the local communities. Meaning that if you ever wanted to think of a stimulus, and we have, you talked about 600 million is what we have distributed. So far, we have paid over 2 billion shillings to for this Kazi Mtaani. Right. We have reports, because we do analysis, we have reports of crime has fallen down, because imagine all these young people, what are they going to do? And when they can't eat, they're going to get Njugush na sisi wote, all right? So crime has gone down because of Kazi Mtaani. The level of cleanliness in these areas has really picked up. And some of these places, like when you go to Kibera and all those places, when we have a response, like for public health, they can't even access because there are no access roads. Right. These young people are helping to open up these places. So that work that you're saying is slashing. And by the way, Anne, because there's...
Yes, we're running out of time. We must go to
let me say something, because on his clip, he mimics a teacher, right? Let me tell you, Anne, there are teachers today that are staying at home because there's no classroom, there's no teaching that is going on. That is a reality. So in Njugush, it's not a laughing matter. This is a serious issue. And that's why I said what we are confronted is many bad choices. What do you do? What do you do to a teacher who knows every day they woke up, they had a secure job? Today, they don't have that job anymore. We don't know when the schools are going to be open.
Fair enough. PS, you've made your point. Let's allow Njugush, you've heard his response, that we were between a rock and a hard place. It's not the best of choices, but, you know, what else do you do? I'm just going to allow you 1 minute to respond.
Thank you so much, Manapis. Now, what I'll say is very simple. The point is not what even the crisis. My point is, a lot of things in this country are done as a reaction. We find we have a fire somewhere. That's when the leaders come with blankets and they say tumekuja kusaidia. That's not what we're talking about. When we talk about creating employment, we've been singing this song ever since this regime came in. We've been singing about creating employment. They're almost going. So where is the employment? Some of the youth, a good number of the youth didn't have jobs. So to say some of them are not working, they didn't have job either way. My point is, we're not talking about now. This crisis will be gone, but when it's gone and the Kazi Mtaani is no longer there, what are we going to have? So we cannot clap and say, well, thank you for the 400 per day. Well and good, you're trying your best, but what of after now, before now, what has been happening for our youths? And I'll go back again. It was very sad seeing the Paralympic. There's the time they were sleeping on the floor. A whole government let them down, a whole ministry. And then you sit there and you want us to say, oh, thank you very much. The problem is not now the crisis. And we appreciate. We are all affected. Some of us lost jobs. Some of us will never recover. Businesses will never recover. But that's okay. We forge on. Our point is we've elected people in offices, but we don't see the urge of them helping us. If anything, they are looking out for themselves, looking out for how they are going to join hands, going for meetings every day in someone else's house, and they say, now this is how we are going to jipanga. Ule na yana jipanga, anatoka nje. But for us, at the end of the day, are we waiting to go for campaigns? And tuambiwe will create more jobs, more jobs. You know, and when we talk of jobs, what kind of jobs? Not the manual, because I hate when I use this seen as cheap labor. Well, umesoma, umefanya. You'll be very surprised when you talk to, the other day I was talking to a tout. I'm not saying that being a tout is a bad thing, but that guy was very painful. You know, he was talking with pain because he went to school, but there's nothing. Hakuna mahali nafunga. So my point is, I appreciate we are in a crisis, and well done, but we cannot sit here and clap because we have Kazi Mtaani. After that, what else? We had Kazi kwa vijana, alafu.
I hear you, Njugush.
Something that over time, even when this regime is not there, we are going to say, at least in this regime, we had ABCD that put youths in a different direction.
I hear you, Njugush. We are absolutely out of time. PS, I know I must allow you a rejoinder. What happens? How long is Kazi Mtaani expected to run, and what next after that, after COVID-19?
So Kazi Mtaani is going to run it's programmed to run until January. That's 6.5 months. But Anne, what we're doing also is we are transitioning Kazi Mtaani into sustainability. So for example, you've seen in Makueni where we have provided the young people with stabilized soil block machines, where now we are involving them in making any public facilities. They're making 60 schools in Makueni. We have in Vihiga. We have all over the country. We have 25 counties where we already have this already started. Right. We have young people now getting involved in in building roads. We have changed the laws recently, about 2 weeks ago. They were published, where we have now put something we're calling community contracting. So we get some of these big contracts and we try and disseminate them into small contracts for the communities.
Right, so it's going to be long-term.
It is going to be long-term. We're going to transition from slashing grasses to more sustainable work. But
to more sustainable work. PS, I'm sorry, we're out of time. My director is going to fade us out. Here's what. I'll have you both on the program again. I want to thank you for your time, PS Charles Hinga and comedian Njugush. Thank you both for your thoughts. We're out of time. We've got to take a break. On the other side of this break, Senator Wabatangi joins us.